It is Tiff, the garden goddess, coming back at you today in the backyard. My neighbor's dog is so annoying. Every time I'm back here, all he does is bark. This is supposed to be my haven, my retreat, and this dude barks 24/7. Anyways, so coming back at you because today I will be filling my garden beds. I've already partially filled them with some leaves from the trees that I have growing around on the property. But I want to go ahead and finish filling them. And because it's such a large, I have four 8x3 beds that are probably about 18 inches tall, 15, 18 inches tall. And that's a lot of soil. And if I were going to go to a big box store like Lowe's or Home Depot, I would be spending a lot of money trying to fill these beds. And so the best bet for me that I found is to go to a bulk soil company. Here in this area, we have two major ones. One's called Soil Building Systems. I've used them before. And then the other one is called Living Earth, which I haven't used before. When I filled my beds at my other house, I bought their premium vegetable mix and I rented a truck. They dumped a yard in the back of the truck, took it to the house, put it in a wheelbarrow, and just made several trips to fill the garden beds. Very tedious. I think I have some pictures. Here's some pictures. And the garden mix was all right. So it was a mix of like topsoil, compost. They put expanded shell in there. They just said it was the best stuff ever. But as I started going through the soil, there were big chunks of sand, of clay. Some of the shells were really large and it wasn't good enough to grow like root crops and things of that nature. So after 3 years, that's how long I lived at the house, I finally was able to, the first year was horrible. My in-ground beds, I swear by in-ground beds at this point, because my in-ground beds were flourishing. It was just like, I could barely do anything to those beds, and whatever I planted there, which was mainly tomatoes, peas, anything, watermelon, would just take off. But my raised beds, those plants struggled. They weren't as strong, they weren't as healthy. I was constantly fertilizing. And every new season, I was putting layers and layers of compost on top of the dirt, mixing it in on top of this premium vegetable mix that I got from Soil Building Systems. And so, great company, great customer service. It's just that soil, it sits outside. It just needs so much amending. So, this time around, I decided not to do that because it was a lot of hard work just for some soil that I had to do a buttload of stuff to anyways. I decided to use the, how do you say it? I think it's Hugelberg? Hugelberg? Is that how you say it? Whatever. That system where you start off with a base of logs and then you do leaves and then you do compost and whatever else you want to do on top, whatever. I'm doing my version of that because I had so many leaves. I had like, here, let me see if I can take you over there. Ugh, I think I just stepped in dog poop. Oh God. Anyways, I don't know if you can see, okay, tons of bags of leaves. I had tons, I have those, and I had tons more that I already put in the bottom of the garden beds, which I'll show you in just a sec. But they had, when they chopped down the pecan tree, I had them, sorry, that's my dog. I had them do the leaves and small twigs and kind of just push them aside along with the mulch. And so cleaned up the leaves, cleaned up the twigs, and now pretty much inside the garden beds, hopefully you can see this, we have a bunch of leaves and twigs and things of that nature. So this is all I've done. At the bottom of my garden beds, I put cardboard. Obviously, I just moved, so I have tons and tons of cardboard. And once again, I'm big on in-ground gardening, in-ground gardening beds, but I don't know if you can see all the trees. Plus, right next to my garden beds, I have this tree stump from a tree that you can tell was probably pretty large at some point. So it's like 3 feet from my beds. And I ran into this with the other house where the roots prevented me from really getting deep, and I was having to plant around the roots in some of my in-ground beds. So I was like, I'm not even about to go through that. You live and you learn. So I know I need to do raised garden beds, but I also see the value in the natural soil. So I wanted to put the cardboard down so that it would, versus landscape fabric, so it eventually break down, decompose, and give me access, and the plants access to all the nutrients underneath my beautiful beds. So anyways, so the bottom of the garden beds already have the leaves and the twigs in it, and I am putting compost. I'm just straight doing compost, but I didn't totally X out soil building systems. So I went there. I didn't want to buy a yard. All I have is this mini like SUV looking thing, and I don't have a pickup truck. And so I was like, if I don't get a yard, what's the next smallest size you have for buying your compost? And they have 40-pound bags. So that is what I got here. Is 6 40-pound bags of their compost, which, y'all, that's my dog. Bruce, I actually really am loving. I mean, sorry, the dog saw me on the ground and wanted to get some action. Anyways, I'm really loving this stuff. And so I'm gonna admit, I think it was like, I can check receipts, but I spent about $56 on 6 40-pound bags, and the bags look like they're about maybe 1 cubic square foot. Like, they don't look that big, unfortunately, but the soil looks awesome. So then the next major like wholesaler of soil, which will deliver by the yard, is Living Earth in our area. And Living Earth is cool, but in order to deliver, you have to have a minimum of 4 yards. And I'm like, that 1 yard almost broke my back. So they're a little bit more official with their compost. They actually sell their compost at Lowe's. It's in a bag. I haven't quite pulled it out yet, but they were significantly cheaper, and this is 2 cubic square feet. So I got a lot more soil here than I do with soil building systems, and the total came out to like $47. So per bag, I got more with the Living Earth, and it was cheaper. But we'll see the quality, because right now I'm loving the soil building systems quality, but I haven't really checked out the quality of the Living Earth. So we will see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill one bed with Living Earth and fill one bed with soil building systems, and I'm just going to amend the tops of the compost with my sand and my azomite and all that other stuff, fertilizer, whatever. And I'm just trying to save as much money as possible when filling these beds, because it can get expensive. So let's crack open one of these Living Earth bags and see what the soil looks like. All right, so first look at Living Oil compost. I'm thinking not bad. This stuff is looking pretty good, honestly. Just off top, I don't see any large chunks or anything like that. It seems really nice and airy. I mean, it does look like the pieces are a little bit larger than the soil building systems. But let's take a look. I don't know if it's the lighting or this green bag. I mean, I think they're kind of tit for tat, you know. Both of these companies make their compost on site, so it's not like they're sourcing out, you know, to another company. And I know for sure at Soil Building Systems, they say it takes about 6 months to create their compost. So that's pretty cool. These are the two beds I'm going to try filling. This is going to be my Soil Building Systems bed. Once again, there is cardboard all underneath there, and I'm going to fill these paths up with mulch more than likely. I might even add another little garden bed in between just to maximize space and all that great stuff. And this is going to be the Living Earth garden bed. And so depending on how these do, I still have another garden bed that I'm going to put down here, which I'm going to do a video on how I make my garden beds out of fence pickets. And then I have this other, y'all, this is when I make the garden bed building video, I will explain this and why it looks like this. But anyways, it will be a garden bed. It is made of pressure treated wood. You can go ahead and hold me and go in and call me a horrible person if you like, but we will talk about this in another video. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and start filling these beds with all of the compost, and then I will come back and let you all know my thoughts. All right, guys, I am back, and here are the two beds. That's the Soil Building Systems, and this is the Living Earth. Now, I just want to start off by saying that they both had 3 full bags of leaves and twigs put in the bottom of them. So let's start off with Soil Building Systems. So I want you guys to kind of look at the sides. You can gauge, here's one fence picket versus another, and there's a third one down there. So I really like this. I really like how fine it is. I mean, I can really see the plants thriving in this. I really like this a lot. But for this, I mean, more money, less amount of soil. Also, opening these bags was highly inconvenient with a little twig and everything, the little electrical tie around it. Now let's go to Living Earth. Let's get down and take a look at this. You can see the soil is a lot higher. You see over there the soil stops right above the middle picket, but here the soil stops like at the middle, almost really closer to the top. Now, this soil is okay. Maybe it's because it's a little bit more wet than the other soil. It doesn't just feel as fine, but I'm not mad at it at all. I could probably wet the other soil and get the same exact, kind of clumping that's going on. Also, these bags were cheaper, more soil, and they were way more convenient to open. Like, you just rip the top off and it goes right in there. So looks like Living Earth is a winner. I did get an azalea mix for my blueberries because they like something that's a little bit more acidic, but that's for another video. Anyways, yeah, Living Earth definitely wins versus the Soil Building Systems. So yeah, that's pretty much what I'll probably be going with. That's not to say though, I mean, the proof is in the pudding, I'm gonna put some tomatoes in here and I'll put some tomatoes in there, and we're really gonna see like if this compost, the Soil Building Systems, produces bigger, better tomatoes and plants. And so I say tomatoes because they're so easy to gauge. Then it might be worth it to some people with smaller beds to use the more expensive compost, because you'll get more for your money. I mean, in the long run, you'll get more vegetables. They'll be bigger. They'll be healthier. Less time having to amend it. But if you're just trying to fill some stuff up and you want to make sure that it's not going to be a waste of your money, or you save money, you buy the vegetable compost mix or the vegetable mix that I bought, and then had to spend all this money on other stuff, then Living Earth is the way to go. So there we have it. I am muddy and dirty because I don't wear gloves at home. but I am still going to add some amendments. I am going to add a little bit of sand, and I might buy some really inexpensive topsoil to kind of work in with the compost. I'm going to check I'm going to do some testing on it and just check acidity and things of that nature and see what type of amendments I should add. That's a whole nother video, but at this point I was really just trying to get the beds filled with something that I knew would work well. So anyways, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up, like, subscribe, turn the notification bell on. Love you guys. Have a blessed day.